Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Bundesliga show, brought to you by Over the Bar. We are returning this evening for more match week predictions. Match week 29 of the Bundesliga is almost upon us. Really looking forward to another show of which we may well be predicting the end of the title race and possibly a first ever Leverkusen title. Obviously, we'll get to that all in good time. But obviously before that, make sure you kick back and enjoy with us. I'm sure you're also all multitasking, watching the footy that's on at the moment. Leverkusen are literally playing as we speak, but we needed to obviously get the show out tonight as well. So yeah, it's 0-0 we think, isn't it, so far, Mark? But Leverkusen doing everything that they can to get a goal at the moment. So yeah, we'll be keeping our eyes on that game as obviously we're doing the show. But before we get stuck into things, just the usual admin. If you can leave a thumbs up on the show, that would be lovely. If you can comment along as well, and of course subscribe, that would be absolutely fantastic. Let us know your thoughts and predictions for this week. Is it time for Leverkusen? Will Bayern bounce back? What's going to happen in the top four in relegation and beyond? So let's get stuck into it, Mark, with that Friday night fixtures again kicked off. And well, this one hasn't got, it's got stuff riding on it, I suppose. Augsburg is still chasing that possible European spot with Frankfurt faltering. So I'll leave this over to you to get us kick-started.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was last season, wasn't it, when Augsburg were just machines on Friday nights. I think they won like 4 out of 4 or 5 out of 5 on Friday nights last year. So they'll definitely be confident ahead of this one. You know, I think Augsburg, they lost last week for the first time in a long time, I think in 5 or 6 games. And it was the start that did them in that game. I thought after the start, they were the better side and they matched Hoffenheim, even probably were a little bit better than Hoffenheim. But this is a game that, you know, they'll really fancy winning against an Union side who are solid defensively again now under Bielitsa, but I still don't feel as though they got enough goals. That's the issue. And they will be looking over their shoulder because, you know, a poor result in this game and then results go against them on Saturday and Sunday, then all of a sudden they're in a dogfight again, which didn't seem likely a couple of weeks ago. But I mean, for me, this is Augsburg's game to lose, ultimately. You know, they are a very strong home team. They almost never lose at home, really, and often win home games, too. I believe, you know, Demirovic is going to be back on the score sheet after his suspension last week. You know, him and Tietz just work so well up top. I really like that partnership. I hope that the likes of Mbabu and Iago are going to be back for this game. I've not heard any team news on that, but I still believe that, you know, Union don't have enough of an attacking threat to really trouble them too much. But I'll give Union a goal, but I think Augsburg should win this one 2-1 for me.
2-1 sounds pretty logical to me. Next up, we've got the Saturday games. First on our list is Bayern hosting FC Köln. In which, one game where I kind of feel like Bayern's attentions are going to be drawn away because of the Champions League. A few people have made very good points to the fact that they don't think there'll be actually too much rotation going on with Munich. Otherwise, I feel slightly different, but that's no problem. Either way round, regards to the team that Munich put out, have Köln got enough goals to get a result there? Obviously, the news in regards to Davy Selke is a blow. Regardless of what we think of, you know, Selke, you know, he has come up with goals previously for Köln, and can Tigges and Waldschmidt do it again in the Allianz? I don't think so. So I see Munich doing the job and keeping the title race alive for 24 hours or so. So I'll go for a 2-0. I don't think it's going to be too flashy, but I think they'll have too much and they'll run out winners.
Yeah, and then moving on to an interesting game between two of Germany's company teams as well, Red Bull versus Volkswagen, you might want to say. But yeah, I mean, for Leipzig, things are looking good again at the minute. They do have that habit of finishing seasons really strongly, and I feel as though probably for the last 2 months, really, they've been very good. Very unlucky not to beat Real in the Champions League as well. It's just been a good run of form for Marco Rosa's team after a bit of a sloppy kind of late December, early January period. But this is another game that they've got to be targeting as a win, ultimately. I mean, Wolfsburg did shock them both in the league and the cup this year, but both of them were kind of smash and grab wins, in truth, where Leipzig were by far the better team, especially in the league game. They dominated that match. I feel as though they are starting to, I say that against Mainz the other week, they didn't score, but Openda is getting more clinical, and he's up to 21 goals now for the season, which is really, really good numbers for an opening season in the Bundesliga. He's probably not got as much credit as he should have done, in truth. I think he's been really good this year. That Schlager is just playing absolutely brilliantly. Olmo, since he's come back in the side, I feel as though that's when they're at their absolute best for Leipzig. Yeah. Wolfsburg are in a dogfight. That's the truth. They're only 5 points clear of Mainz at the minute, and Mainz have got that relatively winnable home game against Hoffenheim, which Rory will talk us through next. But I mean, if they lose that and Mainz win, then they're in trouble, Wolfsburg. And they've not really impressed me that much under Hasenhüttl so far. I thought they got a scrappy win at Werder on his first game, and then they were relatively poor in the second half the other week. Against Gladbach. They've got a good team there at Wolfsburg, but I feel as though it's still an under-motivated side at the minute. So I'm going to go for a very comfortable 2-0 home win in this one as well.
Yeah, I get that impression myself. I will not be disagreeing with you there, Mark. Next up, Mainz, Hoffenheim, as you said. I genuinely don't really know where Hoffenheim are at. I never know how to predict them week on week. Naturally, they seem to get results more so on the road than they do at home. But yeah, Pellegrino Matarazzo just can't get a consistent tune out of this team. Really unsure as to what they might produce. Obviously, a good win for them last time out against Augsburg, but didn't necessarily see that coming. Mainz have been really, really impressive under Buzz, not Bo Svensson, the other Bo. Obviously, throwing out that Munich result, they've given themselves a really good chance. These are the sort of games that they have to win, of course. Both teams, I think, from a squad perspective, are about as full gun as they can be. If Mainz produce the same performance that they did against Darmstadt, they'll have a great chance of getting 3 points. They need to be just as clinical. They need the likes of Burkhardt, Miri, Lee, etc., Onisiwo and beyond to have good games, Gruder, etc., and push from there. So I would like to see them win, and I think they will. And I'll go for a 2-1 home scoreline.
Yeah, big prediction, but I can't disagree with you as well there, Rory. I do fancy Mainz myself. Some good comments coming in as well from one of our regular viewers, Justin. He thinks that Wolfsburg are a bogey team for RB Leipzig. Yeah, that's absolutely true, especially, as I mentioned, they've already turned them over twice this season so far. Yeah, but Justin is also predicting a home win in this case. Yeah, and Peter as well checking in. Yeah, Marcel Schäfer's departure means Hasenhüttl gets to be a manager in an English sense. Yeah, he's going to like that after a few years at Southampton as well, isn't he? Yeah, quite a bit of credit from Hasenhüttl coming in here as well. He did win a match recently. He did, but yeah, I think I mentioned at the time that was a very scrappy game of football. I felt that the Werder match. I mean, it was as scrappy as it gets, really, and it wasn't enough to make me think that they're going to start winning week in, week out. The Wolves. But yeah, let's move on, guys. So yeah, it's going to be a massive game, a Nordrhein-Westfalen derby, two of Germany's power clubs, Gladbach and Dortmund. I mean, what can you say about Dortmund? I mean, obviously they had that brilliant win at Bayern, then a relatively underwhelming defeat against Stuttgart, where they didn't play badly, but as I mentioned on Monday, I did feel as though Stuttgart played the silkier football in that game. And then the performance yesterday, where it was kind of the opposite way, I felt as though Dortmund played the better football against Atletico, but they just made too many stupid errors. I mean, the opening goals were just poor. At that level of Champions League, you can't do that. But the second half was superb from Dortmund, nothing short. From the first whistle, they were dangerous. Füllkrug was holding the ball up, and thought they played really well. And obviously Sebastian Haller getting that deserved consolation, and then Julian Brandt hitting the post brutally with the last kick of the match, which would have given them what would have been a huge draw and would probably have made them favourites ahead of the second leg in Germany. But yeah, as for this game, this is another massive game because Dortmund can't afford to drop points here, because it's unlikely that Leipzig will drop points. And obviously it's looking like a battle between them two for that fourth spot at the minute. Gladbach, again, they can't piece a 90-minute performance together to save their lives. I thought they were really good in the second half last week, but as you mentioned, only after a very lucky Itakura deflected goal, which was just one of them, which was just pure luck, basically,
Yeah.
I mean, rather than skill. And after that, they came out of the shell, and the likes of Rocco Wright played really well, I felt. And they showed that they can still play a bit of football when they want to, Gladbach, although we've not seen it anywhere near enough this season. But this game is a chance for them to show what they can do. They tend to do well at home against Dortmund as well. They have a good record at home against Dortmund at the Borussia Park. Dortmund, will they have more eyes on that second leg? Quite possibly, but they can't afford to completely turn a blind eye to this match, because, as I say, even a draw is not enough in this game. They need to be winning every match until, they go to Leipzig at the end of the month. I'm actually going to go for Dortmund just about to get the job done. I think it will be a good game, this, with goals. And I can actually see a late Dortmund winner and a 3-2 win for me. So Rory will take us through Bochum, Heidenheim.
Okay, yeah, good stuff. I think the last 3 games between Gladbach and Dortmund have been 4-2, 4-2, 5-2, or something like that. So yeah, goals are we would imagine are guaranteed. Bochum, Heidenheim. If ever there seems to have been a cursed win, it seems to be Bochum's win against Bayern, because since that point they have not had a scrap. And obviously it's cost a job, and so we were talking on Monday, weren't we, Mark? I mean, I think you said it, Mark, about you felt like the dismissal of Lech was premature or disappointing, or maybe not even, or maybe the fact that they've gone too early. But they need a bounce. They need something to happen. They need a result. And Heidenheim, obviously coming off that huge high of the second half that they played against Bayern, 45 wonderful minutes. Still, obviously, Heidenheim's overall form is patchy, but of course it's going to be there. It's their first ever season in the Bundesliga. They're entitled to that. It's going to happen. They're learning on the job, basically, but what a job they're doing. So, yeah, it's a tricky one to call. It's a good fixture for Bochum to have, and perfect timing maybe for the new man coming in. So, it's still going to be tetchy and quite scrappy, I think. So I'm going to go for a fairly ugly 1-1 draw.
Yeah, massive game, that one, isn't it, for the home side? It really is, with a lot of difficult fixtures upcoming as well for Bochum. This is their probably last easy game, if you're going to say. Obviously, it's not an easy game, but it's a game that they'd still fancy to win, but it's a massive one. It's under the new coach, Butcher, of course, who was just appointed as interim yesterday, I think. But yeah, onto the top spiel. I mean, Stuttgart love a top spiel, don't they? They play a lot of them, and they also win a lot of top spiels as well, as they've done in the last 2 away games at Hoffenheim and Dortmund, respectively. This time they're back in home comforts in Baden-Württemberg against a Frankfurt side who really, I just don't know what to say about them, really, because they're in 6th place, which is good, actually. As a team that had an overhaul over the summer, they lost so many key players and brought a lot of others in. I would say 6th is quite a satisfactory finish in terms of positioning, but the football they played at times has been the definition of underwhelming, hasn't it? I mean, they've not scored enough goals. The football has just been boring to watch a lot of the time, which is not typical for a Frankfurt side who are known to be, a very energetic and entertaining team that look to score goals and play on the front foot. But it's just not been like that under Dino Topmuller this season. And for me, I don't give them much hope against this Stuttgart side who just continue to enthrall audiences all over Germany and all over the world. I mean, this is a game that, many people will say, okay, they're playing sixth place side. It's another hard match to build up on and I'm sure Stuttgart fans will respect this Frankfurt side. They've only lost 6 games the whole season. The same as Stuttgart, ironically, but it just proves that stats don't always tell everything, because there's a big gulf in quality in my eyes between these two sides. And I actually see a very comfortable Stuttgart win. I really do. I just can't see Frankfurt matching the energy. They're going to need Shaqiri to have an absolute stormer in that defensive midfield position. But I just feel as though the likes of Fury, Guirassy, Undav, Mittelstadt are just going to pulverize this Frankfurt side. So I'm going to go for a 3-0 home win.
Well, that would be nice. Certainly won't be arguing against that for sure. We have 2 Sunday games, of course. The first of which is beleaguered Darmstadt taking on or hosting Freiburg side that got real pasting last time out against Leipzig, one of their bogey teams. Not helped by a lot of very, very poor defending, players out of position, albeit. So this is last chance saloon, I guess, for Darmstadt. And there can't be many more bullets in the chamber, I don't think, for this side, who are looking pretty doomed. I wish them all the luck, and I hope that they can get a positive result and kind of pull things back a little bit. But it's hard to see even Freiburg. They'll be annoyed by the Leipzig result, and they'll want to give Strike a good farewell tour, although there might not be too many more highlights of it. This might be one of them. So I think that Freiburg will win. I think it'll be a close game, though. I'm going to go for a 3. It's still probably going to be 3-1, though. 3-1 to Freiburg. I think they'll just have too much ultimately for this Darmstadt side, which obviously leads us to the final game of match week 29. Obviously, myself and Mark are both going to share our thoughts and opinions on this one, because, well, why not? It could be a celebration of Leverkusen football, obviously on Sunday afternoon / evening, early evening. They have the chance to claim their first ever Bundesliga title at home to Werder Bremen. Before I offer my scoreline or prediction, Mark, I mean, Werder at home's as good a kind of opposition that they could probably have hoped for in this kind of current setup. So what are we thinking for this possible celebration for Leverkusen?
Yeah, they're quite possibly the most off-form team in the league at the minute, as you say, Werder. They've not been very good for weeks, basically, potentially even months we're talking about now. But it's still, even though we all know, basically, Leverkusen could probably lose all 6 of the last games and still win the title. That's a reality right now. I mean, I don't see either Stuttgart or Bayern winning all 6 of their games, and that's the only way that they could be stopped basically now, and Leverkusen lose all 6. So basically they are going to win the title regardless of what happens. But for me, there will still be a little bit of nerves there at the Bayer Arena on Sunday evening, because I just think this is a club that, for so long underachieved, really, and this brilliant team, what they've done this year. Obviously, they're still going for an unbeaten league season as well. Let's not forget that. I mean, they're only 6 games away from that. This is a game where I can actually see them conceding an early goal. I don't know why. I can see Werder. We see this so much in football, don't we? It's like everyone's waiting for Leverkusen just to roll them over 4-0, and then lo and behold, Werder strike early and take a lead. But I still think that Leverkusen will win the game, and relatively comfortably. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 home win, and it's going to be a fantastic day in that small little town on the suburbs of Cologne, isn't it? Rory, are you going for the same as well? Or?
I think that will be a nice way for us to round up the show, because that sounds like a pretty good scoreline to me. Like you say, I think there could be a bit of drama because, well, it's the Bundesliga, so why not? If they don't get it done Sunday, they've got a good few other games to get it done anyway, and there's a good chance that Bayern might slip up along the way anyhow. So yeah, it will be absolutely epic, and it will be a home win, and Leverkusen will be Bundesliga champions, and we'll have a new Meisterschale, winner, which will be awesome. So yeah, really looking forward to settling back on Sunday. I'll be watching that. I'll be having my feet up. I'll be watching the Masters Sunday as well. So what a feast of sport that will be for me to enjoy. So that'll be that. So from the impact on the table, we've obviously already said our piece on that. If what we're saying is going to come true, it will be as is in terms of the top 4 race as well, with wins for all 3 of Stuttgart, Leipzig, Dortmund. I guess we're including Bayern in that for now as well a little bit. And then towards the bottom of the table, it might be a really impactful weekend, actually. If we see Mainz get that home victory, they'll really notch up a load of pressure on those sides above. So then you see Bochum, Wolfsburg, Union all really sweating on those other results and the games to come. So very, very exciting stuff. So I'll gladly hand over to Mark and just remind you all that will be back tomorrow morning for fantasy football fun.
Yeah, just another nice little comment from Justin as well. Yeah, he believes they're going to win the league on Sunday as well. Yeah, absolutely agree. Yeah, I think it's going to be a great day for German football and for the league. And yeah, Peter reminded me to get ready for next weekend. Yeah, our next little jaunt away is going to be taking place not this weekend, but next weekend. So yeah, remember to check that out, guys. There will be more vlogs on the way. Woohoo! So yeah, let's sum it up then. So yeah, I can't find my thing. Yeah, so if you enjoyed what you saw, then check out at Over the Bar FB and at Village Footy as well. Don't forget, we're not only a YouTube channel as well. We're also a podcast. So remember to leave a like and a review on that. The link will be in the description. And also don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on our work. Great to see another good number of live fans as well. If you're watching and you're not subscribed, then subscribe now. You've got to do it. Yeah. So yeah, fantastic to see we're getting more and more kind of people interacting with us live and also on the comments, which is great to see. Our regulars, Justin, Ballum, and the like, keep staying with us and take us through this brilliant season right to the end. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. And Rory, I'll see you tomorrow for the fantasy show. See you then, guys.